Hey everybody, this is Christopher Brower here with Daily Motor, and today we're driving the 2022 Volkswagen Taos SEL 4Motion. If you're not familiar with the Taos, it is Volkswagen's newest member of their SUV family, and it is the smallest SUV that they currently offer. This thing slots right below the Tiguan and competes with cars such as the Hyundai Kona and the Honda HR-V. It's just a little guy, but it's got quite a bit of room in the interior, and I think from a styling perspective, it looks pretty cool as well. Let's take a look in the back here because that's where this thing really excels. I've got a snow scraper back here as a size comparison. We've got quite a bit of room back here, especially when you fold the seats down. Don't go completely flat. We've got a little bit of a ridge right here. But that is quite a bit of room. In fact, I bet I could lay back here. Ugh. Excelling in car reviews for 2022. Thank you very much. Oh yeah. Check that out. We've got a view of the sky with our panoramic sunroof here, but tons of room back here. I mean, you could fit a full-sized me back here. Okay. Camera didn't fall off. Count that as a win. Anyways, under here we've got a spare tire as well. Got our little toolkit surrounded by foam and whatnot. Pretty impressive when it comes to space inside. We don't have a power tailgate, but that's okay. It's a very light unit, easy to shut. All right, let's see. Let's put these seats back up. What I like about this is the seat belts aren't in the way. I like when manufacturers leave the seat belts separate over here on the sides. You don't have to pull the seat belt out to move it out of the way, which means we can put this seat up from over here and it works just fine. Let's hop in the back here, where I'm happy to say I have tons of room. Check this out. I don't feel cramped at all in the back of this Taos. I've got tons of leg room. I'm 5'11", and this is adjusted for my driving position. I've got tons of headroom, especially with this panoramic moonroof here. I feel like I've got all the room in the world. We've got a light colored headliner, which I don't usually like, but in this case, it makes the interior feel much larger and much more open. In the middle here, we have our armrest with a couple of cup holders. And then also you have a pass-through right here. If you wanted to put some skis or some golf clubs or whatever you wanted to put in here, you can do that pass-through. We've got this nice perforated black leather with this pretty nice mocha / cocoa brown detailing added with white stitching. I think overall it looks nice, and we'll take a look up front as well because it looks even better up there. As far as amenities go back here, well, there's not too much. We've got some reading lights that are really satisfying to click on and off. Seat back pockets, the cup holders that I just showed you, and just one USB-C port. All right, well, shall we move up to the front? I don't know if I want to. I've got so much room back here. I can hang out back here all day. All right, anyways, let's move up to the front and see what that's all about. Up front is a pretty familiar place. It looks like a lot of Volkswagen's current lineup. The steering wheel, that's very familiar. Our shift knob and shifter surround, that's very familiar. Infotainment, overall design of everything really says baby Tiguan to me, and I think that's kind of what they were aiming for with this car. We've got this really nice brown accent leather that runs along the entire door panel and through the dash as well. It carries through under the infotainment and all the way across. We've got that on our front door panels, but not on the rear door panels. I was driving a Jetta GLI a few months ago, and it was the same way, and I was like, did Volkswagen like put the wrong door panels on the back? It just doesn't make sense, because all the other manufacturers that add really nice detailing like this usually carry it through the back seat, and it's kind of disappointing to see that probably every Taos has these same rear door panels, no matter what trim level you get. So just something that I don't really like. Let's go ahead and start this thing up. Wireless Apple CarPlay, my phone's in my pocket. It has connected already, so that is pretty nice to see. Good stuff here. The infotainment reacts. Oh, okay, well, usually it reacts pretty quickly, but at this very moment, I think probably just because it's booting up, it's not reacting very quickly. We've got a normal volume knob here on the side. We've got our buttons as well that run along the side of the infotainment screen. Fully digital cluster here in the middle with a navigation screen right there, right in front of your face. I love that Volkswagen Audi Group cars always have that sat nav right there in the cluster. It's a really cool feature. If you want to have something different on your infotainment, you can see the navigation right there in the middle. Down here, normal traditional shifter, start, stop, parking brake, drive modes, and 2 USB-C ports. We also have a separate climate control panel from the infotainment, which is nice to see. And since this is a German car, we can heat and cool our seats at the same time. All right, well, with that interior tour out of the way, let's go ahead and take this thing out on the daily motor test route and see what it's like to drive. It's a nice feeling shifter. Grown to appreciate just traditional shifters. Feel the speed. And 54. Okay, good enough. So this Volkswagen Taos SEL 4Motion is powered by a 1.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, and that's backed by a DSG 7-speed dual clutch automatic. Now that sounds like a very, very exciting setup. You'd think, oh, it's kind of like a baby Golf R in a way. It's an all-wheel drive DSG, but this is flat out. Still not to 60, still not to 60. There's 60. So it doesn't have very much power. In fact, it only has 158 horsepower, but we do have 184 foot-pounds of torque, and it makes that pretty low, around 1,700 RPM. So we have a good amount of torque. It's always nice when low-powered cars have more torque than they do power. At least you can get yourself moving out of corners. Yeah. I don't necessarily understand the appeal or advantage to a dual clutch transmission nowadays in just a normal car. I can see the appeal of it in a performance car like the Golf R or even a GTI, but why do we need it in the Taos with 158 horsepower? I don't know, because it's a little bit jerky, it's a little bit touchy, and I was hoping that this car wouldn't remind me of the silly throttle tuning that's in the Volkswagen Atlas. And unfortunately, I think due to this DSG, it kind of does. So it's a little bit frustrating. Ooh, there's like loose mud here on oversteer today. A little bit strange. But anyways, apart from the weird dual clutch and throttle tuning, the Taos actually drives really nice. It's very smooth. It's damped to be very soft and cushy. It's got a nice ride even with these low profile tires on this SEL model. I don't really have any complaints about that. Of course, it's not the smoothest riding thing in the world, but nothing in this class is going to ride super smooth, and I think this car is on the smoother and softer side. Steering is pretty direct. Car feels pretty nimble. Reminds me of the Tiguan in that respect. And it is able to power out of corners pretty well. It's nice that we do have more torque than power. As far as driver aids go in here, since this is the SEL, we do have all of the good travel assist options. So being that this is a Volkswagen, we can't just use it while we're not on cruise control. You have to set your cruise control like so. Set it there at 55 miles an hour, and then you can activate travel assist. Now this will keep you in between the lines without having to touch the steering wheel. It really thinks a lot though, and it kind of stresses me out in that respect. It doesn't, take over steering. Now, to give it benefit of the doubt here, the line on that side of the road is not super dark, so it was probably getting a little bit confused, but I have found it kind of searching constantly to stay in the middle, and it's really just not there with Hyundai and Kia yet, which is hilarious. We're going on another model year of cars that are still not caught up with 2020 Hyundai and Kias, so it is what it is, I guess. So we've activated travel assist again. See if it can do this corner. It can. Okay, that was actually pretty good. Turn this off here for our entrance ramp. Oh, we've got an open entrance ramp. Let's go manual mode with our DSG here. Oh. Ah. So when you do actually shift this DSG manually, it reacts instantly. But the problem with it is, Volkswagen has it set up so it shifts before you can even get close to redline. So what's the point of having a manual mode in a car if I can't get even above 5,000 RPM? It's not letting me downshift here. Still not letting me downshift. Still not there it goes. Now it'll let me downshift. It also doesn't help that down is down and up is up. It should be the other way around. If you know, you know. Second gear. Give me second gear. Thank you. I don't think it's possible to redline this car, and I have not figured out how to do that yet. So how about price then? Well, all Volkswagen Taoses have the same 1.5 liter Nothing. No. Cancel. You can't say the V word in here or else it'll... No, cancel. No. I'm just going to get rid of that. You can't say the V word in here or else it'll think that it's being summoned. Anyways, all of these Taoses have the same 1.5 liter turbocharged engine. However, standard, these cars come front wheel drive with an 8-speed automatic transmission in S trim level. It goes S, SE, SEL. We're in the SEL. S is the cheapest. That car starts at just about $22,000, so quite a bit cheaper than this. You don't get all of the driver aids, you don't get leather seats, you don't get a lot of the nice things, but from a driving perspective, I almost prefer the front-wheel drive car because it has the 8-speed automatic and it drives a little bit nicer. However, if you live somewhere like Michigan, you're gonna want the all-wheel drive, so I would probably still recommend the all-wheel drive to somebody because not everyone's going to be a picky journalist that cares about a little bit jerky throttle response and throttle tuning. So I think the 4Motion would still be the way to go. You can have an S 4Motion. It starts at about $25,000. So it's a few grand more to have 4Motion, but that's not too big of a deal. To jump up to SEL, the car that we have today, loaded with all the options, it's about $33,000, and with destination, that puts you up to 35 grand. So for a completely spec'd out Taos, 35 grand, that doesn't seem too bad. We've got quite a few luxuries in here. Heated and cooled seats, heated steering wheel, fully digital cluster, travel assist, wireless Apple CarPlay. So overall, a pretty nice car. Just a couple of things that just are making me say, they just could be better. The rear door panel's not matching, the sketchy throttle tuning, the kind of jerkiness of the DSG. All things that could be better for this price point and just aren't. But overall, I think the Taos is still a good little car. It's got good space. Up front, we've got nice luxuries. And I think someone that buys this would be really happy with it. All right, everyone. Well, that's going to wrap up our drive today of the 2022 Volkswagen Taos. If you're curious about the Beats audio system or the real-world fuel economy, make sure to check out Charlie's videos right here on Daily Motor covering both of those things. As far as the review goes, it's going to finish it up for us today. Thank you all so much for watching. Let's do one more little walk around to this Taos, and then that'll be it. Overall, really attractive styling, and overall, a pretty good car. Well, thanks everybody so much for watching today. I hope you've enjoyed the drive of this Volkswagen Taos. If you're curious also about the Tiguan or the Atlas, we've got drives of the whole Volkswagen SUV family right here on Daily Motor, so make sure to check those out as well. But again, thanks so much for watching. This has been Christopher Brower with Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.